What do we know about the neurological underpinnings of synesthesia?
Well, we know a lot. So what do you mean? Can you be more specific?
Yeah, I want you to tell us a bit about
What's going on in the brain?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. Well, what's happening during synesthesia is there are a greater number of cross connections in synesthetes compared to the rest of us. Now, cross connection exists in everybody. It's just that synesthetes have more of it, and they're consciously aware that they have it. So, for example, we all lip read. I'm looking at you now via this video camera, but I'm looking at your face and your mouth to see what you're saying. Okay, and we do this all the time. The noisier it gets at a party, for example, the more we have to pay attention to what the person is saying via their face, body language, that. Cinema is another example, whereas we think that the dialogue is coming from the mouths on the screen, not the speakers that are surrounding us.
Right.
Even bad ventriloquists convince us that the dummy's talking because sight and sound are already so tightly linked in all of us. And if you think back to a baby, I mean, they learn through mimicry, don't they? Right. They learn through the movement and the sound of mama, dada, etc. Doggy.
Right.
So they're very synesthetic at that age.
So everybody is synesthetic at an early age.
Actually, Daphne Maurer at McMaster University in Canada believes that all infants are synesthetic up until about age 3 when they grow out of it. And I wouldn't say grow out of it so much as it then becomes suppressed by the development of other kinds of capacities in a developing brain. So all of us are synesthetic, even if only a little bit, and we can see that in metaphor, for example. We talk about sharp cheese. Well, why do we describe a taste in terms of a touch? And cheese isn't really sharp. It's rather soft, mostly. So it doesn't make a lot of sense. We talk about warm colors. Why is red a warm color? There's nothing thermal about it at all. Right. Unless you think of the sun. The sun is yellow and the sun is warm, so yellow is warm. So these are synesthetic metaphors.
Right. Yeah, that makes sense. So why I'm not sure I understand exactly what happens in the development of the brain that enables some people to have synesthetic experiences while I, for example, don't.
With the same thing that makes some people epileptic or some people have migraines. I mean, why you and not that person next to you? And it's just the way that the brain develops. It's an interplay between nature and nurture. I mean, synesthesia is so interesting because you have to have two things. You have to have a genetic propensity to cross-connect different kinds of sense, not only senses, but different kinds of abilities in the brain. But then you must also be exposed early in life to cultural artifacts, such as letters, numerals, the names of the foods that you eat, the clocks, and how to tell time, and the points of a compass, things like that. Yeah. So one of the most interesting challenges still to me is how does this binding occur in early life? We know that, from 0 to 6 months, the brain is undergoing an enormous reorganization, right? And then, it is that during that time that synesthesia first appears. That it appears in the very, very early years. Usually around, certainly by 3 to 4. But there's an exception. A small number of people say that around the time of puberty, they either lose it or they develop it. I have a set of twins and said, oh, my twin brother did this too, but at our bar mitzvah, he lost it. So there's something, and again, puberty is a time of enormous change, right? You grow hair, your voice changes, you develop breasts, and these are outward manifestations, but the brain is also undergoing a terrific reorganization around this time.
Right.
back to you, there's an increase in these normal connections in synesthetes for reasons we don't quite understand. It has to do with the interplay of the genes that you inherit or that mutate in you spontaneously, and your exposure to cultural artifacts at an early age.